obviously your expertise has always been trying to property, the credit space. Have we seen the worst of it? Or, this is just going to be an ongoing story that we're going to talk about here for months and months?
I think, sometimes it's like a lot of people always say, right, China is a big country. China is the second largest economy of the world, and there are so many other sectors. And we also know that property is, China is not property alone. And we also know that property have probably really served the purpose or served the role as one of the growth engines for China's economy. But why until today we are still everybody is still looking at property? I think that is there's many other reasons behind this. So I think property is important, right? Number one, it touches everybody's heart, right? So it's like in China, it's like not only say the buyers looking at the property, potential investors looking at the property, the banks, and then the financiers, everybody, right? It's always property related, and the Chinese like property too, right? So there are a lot of things. And then for foreign investors, we are also looking at the property. So that's why it's like property is always of interest for various reasons.
Okay, so where do you think we are on? So the reason I bring this up right now, it's interesting we're talking because almost exactly 12 months ago, the Bloomberg High Yield Dollar Index, yield to worst, the yield peaked at over 30%. That was during, I think, the Evergrande conversation. It's recovered to about 15%. We've been stuck in the range 15 to 20% yield. As a follow-up to Yvonne's question there, do you think the worst is over for the sector itself? Why you still have some of the individual restructurings? And do you think contagion risk is now well managed?
I think they have we have many fronts looking at it. Number one, we said policy cycle has bottomed. So that one is quite clear. And that's already already reflected in the September sales. As you say, September sales, they have a mild recovery. But whether this is sustainable, we do not know. I think early this year, we also used 3 months sales. We think there's a recovery. And I think what happened later on in April and May, it suggests the recovery was not that sustainable. And now in September, so I think we cannot use 1 month's data to say what will happen in the next few months. So I think the test just began. And the other thing is we're talking about, just now you were talking about yield. I think now if we're looking at high yield property, we do not talking about yield. We're talking about price, right? Whether they are 5 cents to a dollar, 10 cents to a dollar, or 15 cents to a dollar. We do not look at the yield because yield is no longer meaningful. So I think it's also very important especially for offshore investors, to looking at what the outcome will be for the default investors, the default property developers. Because it's like we know what is say about the China property market and all what they are here. Some they have a lot of contributing factors. Some are expected and inevitable, and some are unexpected. And also we also know what is here, what is the policy. But we do not know what is the outcome of those default or distressed developers. I know they are all under restructuring. And we also know as offshore investors, we are structurally subordinated. We are behind the claims of the buyers, the suppliers, and onshore secure lenders. All this we also know. And during the study, and we also know that those developers' current debt level are not sustainable, especially that now the market is going down. We expect a slow and a steady recovery. So all this, we all get it. And then we also know, the offshore, they have a lot of, developers, or a number of developers. They have already released their restructuring plan. You can see debt to equity swap is one of the options. So you can see they are trying to achieve a deleveraging. But until now, I would say there's no major developers plan have already worked